natural. It shouldn't happen. It's a spiritual perversion, like my sister Yane was talking about earlier. My heart hurts every time we come out here because we're still doing this and we're still going through these motions. And Brother Mumia is ill. He's not well. They have robbed him of his life and his health and seeing his family on the daily. They have robbed us of his presence. He should be out here with us. We should be fighting other fights with him. And this is what they do. They take our freest people. They take our brightest, our smartest, and they put them behind bars. And so we are left struggling to free them instead of fighting the battles that we should all be fighting behind those leaders, going to battle with them. But here we are. And this court, this recent court is another seemingly disaster, but it's really not. This atrocious court, if anything, reveals how rotten this system is. The fact that just a handful of people can make sweeping decisions that affect the bodies of individuals, of millions of individuals, and our fate collectively, and our planet globally, shows you how rotten this system is. And it reveals to us that it is this system that must be overturned. It is this system that must be aborted. But Mumia doesn't have time for that. We need to get him home, and I'm here for that fight. And I'm here to bring the energy of my people who have been fighting for decades for liberation against Israeli barbarity and sadisticness. Thank you. Free Mumia, free them all, free Palestine.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine must be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine must be free.
That's right. Everybody say October 19th. October 19th. October 19th. That is Mumia's next important court date here in Philadelphia. October 19th. We were here just a few days ago on June 29th. We had folks who had the last court date just last week. And once again, they continue to push things back. But no worries, because with each pushback, we get stronger. Is that right? With each pushback, we get stronger. Is that right? So October 19th, we want to be full and en masse. It probably won't be as hot and sweltering, so we might be a little bit more comfortable. But we want to pack the courts. We want to be outside of solidarity. We want to show and prove and make sure the world knows that we're here for Mumia Abu-Jamal and won't be stopped till he's home. Is that right? So we're going to keep things pushing. We're going to bring up our next speaker with Black Alliance for Peace organizer who really actually helped. You know, there's something that used to be right there above these steps. There used to be, I think, a statue that I don't see anymore. It used to be a no-good bastard who used to sit right there. It used to be a no-good demon. It used to be an evil son of a you-know-what. They used to sit at that steps. No longer there, is that right? So many of our family members were traumatized by that so-called kind of a man.
No-good bastard.
And so the reality of it is that we want to give energy to Philly for Real Justice. Give it up for him. We want to give it up for the MOVE and the Mumia movement, who for decades and years was against that goddamn statue. And also we want to highlight the importance of an international effort to organize, and that's one effort is Black Alliance for Peace. Give it up, y'all, for Deandra.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Deandra, and I'm a member of the Philadelphia chapter of Black Alliance for Peace.
Let's go!
We are a Black-led African diaspora-wide organization dedicated to advancing the anti-imperial struggle throughout the world. BAP is here today to stand in continued solidarity with Mumia Abu-Jamal, the battle to free him and all political prisoners, and the overarching struggle for Black liberation from capitalist and imperialist oppression. Mumia is an example of just how far the state will go to silence people who are telling the truth about injustice and oppression. We know that he is innocent and that he belongs home with his family. We say free Mumia because we know this fight is about him, and we know we also must give energy to the eradication of incarceration and policing in all its forms. Mumia also teaches us how this country uses policing and incarceration to continue to oppress the working class and solidify capitalist control here and abroad. If we are seeking liberation, we must abolish the prison industrial complex. On the eve of so-called Independence Day, the state of our country is this. We are still in a pandemic, which the government is increasingly loath to admit. There is record inflation, and instead of fixing it, our president begs the capitalist class to do the right thing from his Twitter account. The U.S. has orchestrated yet another foreign conflict and is continuing to meddle in the subsequent fallout. Reproductive rights have been stripped from those who are able to give birth, and meanwhile, this country can't even ensure that children will be safe at their schools. Make no mistake, we are not here by accident. The contradictions caused by the capitalist need to profit ensures that the welfare of human beings is always at odds with the survival of the United States. In fact, these crises are simply money-making opportunities for the ruling class. We as a population are constantly gaslit into a waiting game. If this person gets elected, it'll change. If we add a Black woman to the Supreme Court, things will improve. Just vote blue, just donate. These are the tools that our government says we have. In reality, politicians in this country on either side of the aisle have repeatedly demonstrated their disinterest in making anything better for us. It's not that they don't understand. It's not even really that they can't make any changes. It's quite simply that they refuse to do so. Mumia tells us time and time again about the futility of politics in this system. Quite simply, because the system itself is built on oppression and injustice, there is no way that it can right itself. Mumia teaches us that the way to create change is to resist. Because we are facing a fight with battles on multiple fronts, the most pivotal form of resistance is through diligent and consistent organizing, something that has been crucial to the success we've seen in Mumia's case. We know that this works. Without the dedication of the MOVE organization, the Free Mumia movement, and the overarching organization work to free all political prisoners, Mumia would have never gotten off of death row. Now, more than ever, in this fight and in our countless other fights for a more just world, we need folks involved in organizing wherever they can fit in. This is the only way we ensure our continued victory. It has now been 40 years since Mumia was unjustly arrested, framed, and charged for the murder of Daniel Faulkner. This fight has been happening longer than I've been alive. There have been victories along the way, there have been setbacks. But we know that the end goal is Mumia's freedom, and so the work continues to be done. Resistance is a long-haul process, but is necessary for liberation. In the spirit of Mumia, I invite all who are here today, be involved in the process however you can. We do not have to wait on the state to call out its own abuses. We are clear that the capitalist system is unsustainable for the working class worldwide. The fight is to get organized, and right now, wherever you are, to get into organization and be in struggle. On behalf of that, I'd like to say thank you to the organizers of today's event. Free Mumia and free all political prisoners.
Give it up again for Deandra, y'all. So one thing that we like to also do at these spaces is understand that we can use art as a weapon, right? We can use our poetry, we can use our music for revolution, to free not only Mumia Abu-Jamal, but to free all political prisoners. And so with that being said, I want to bring up a long-standing supporter of Mumia Abu-Jamal. He's been present at a lot of our actions, but more importantly also he's a spoken word artist who understands what it means to be a part of these movements. I want to bring up North Philly's finest and Miss Betty's son, the good brother Shiesty. Y'all good for him?
Good afternoon. Before we get started, I brought my youngest son with me, and I had to realize I was his age when Mumia went in. And then we fast forward 40 years, he's still in. So we're going to do this as an artist and activist. I go out and I talk to young people and tell them they're going to label us as thugs, militants, and revolutionaries just so they can incarcerate us. Free them all. Political prisoners behind the wall. The gods are walking the yards. And we ain't in war with a corrupt system. The prison guards and the policemen, Satan and his henchmen. When the judge crack gavel and throw the souls of black folks deep down in the hole. But when we see them, we gonna raise a fist for freedom fighters. It's a Black Panther party. And only the descendants of warriors are invited. Roll call. Russia Maroon, Batula Shakur, Mumia Abu-Jamal, and many more. Free them all. See, I know why the cage Jim Crow sings. You lock it down, it loses its wings. Can't find these streets, so it come pray to be devouring the belly of the beast. America eats its poor, got dark meat stuck between its teeth. See, the slaves were set free for a brief moment, moved to the sun, then moved back into slavery. And them boys in the prison yard can't smell freedom in the air, so they come public enemy caught in the crosshair. But now it's his power. My mind is black steel in the chaos hour, and you can't convince me to change my attitude. And I know slavery in America started with a ditch of certitude. Now, how is it any different from the day when a prison industrial complex got inmates working for pennies a day, and the media can't convince me that drug sales and use don't cross color lines and ethnic groups, but disproportionately locked down is black and brown. European immigrants put Africans in chains, and Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, that's the way the slaves were raised in chains. So the more things stays, the more they stay the same. Say word. They've been trying to figure out what to do with the black and poor problems since the Reconstruction. Do the research. It ain't hard to tell, but if they was doing drug suites in college campuses, the frat boys we called mom and dad home to produce bail. But white privilege give the criminal justice system a sliding scale. Ain't no black gangs in the suburb. Black sell the black, white the white, brown the brown. Everybody's getting high, no lie. But they want a racial profile and stop and frisk the guy. Listen, he was convicted by the testimony of an eyewitness. Judge cracked gavel past sentence. For the 2 decades he was left sentenced. He got exonerated by DNA evidence proof. Put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth. How many that last scenario seen someone that looked like me, his youth, wasted behind bars, and those who couldn't take it put a belt around his neck and the cell becomes strange fruit, noose. But I'm a man, so I'm born to stay in a wreck. I let words ejaculate from my larynx to tell this criminal justice system, use a lying trick. And I come with the truth and let it bust all over you. That courtroom don't see men, care less about that faith you believe in. So I'll leave me write these prison poetic letters way past the margin. For my brothers and sisters who can't get parole or government pardon. They say I recite like a lyrical rapper. I'm half poet, half pastor. Work like a slave to become I self, Lord and master of this craft. Black magic, witchcraft, nothing up my sleeve. I just use words that conjure spells and make you believe in your brilliance. Human spirit, resilient, so you upstate on those tears. No tears. Peace king, one love queen. See, I know why the cage Jim Crow sings.
And give it up for Shy's son right there, man. Give it up for Shy's son came with him. We gotta bring our family with them, man. Bring our children when we can. Y'all all right? Y'all all right? Once again, if you need water, the water's in the back. If you need water, we have water. We also have books for sale, Mumia's books. We also have T-shirts and other items as well for sale. So if you need water, if you need anything else to cool off, you can cool off right behind us. We have snacks as well. So just against the wall, I know we've been out here for about half an hour. We have 2 more speakers. Then we're gonna hit the streets. Is that all right? Yeah. Who's ready to hit the streets? Is that all right? Yeah. Sounds good. So we got 2 more speakers, and we're gonna hit the streets. I want to bring up somebody who's supposed to be near and dear to all of us, not only with love, not fear, but just this is very personal for him and his story. And I'm gonna let him tell it because he can tell it better than all of us. Many of us obviously saw his parents come home first 4 years ago, right? We saw his parents come home. We saw the HBO film 40 Years a Prisoner, but more importantly, we saw, if you've been around like we've been around back in 2011 and 2002, you were still organizing before the cameras. And so we want to give it up again, y'all, for Mike Africa Jr., y'all.
Thank you. Yes. Oh man, can I sit down? Is that all right?
Get comfortable. Tell your story, but it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, it's cooking out here. Y'all see this yarn I got right here? I used to have 10 of these. Before the move down came home, I used to carry them around everywhere I went, and now I got one left. We got one last brother standing from our family, Mumia Abu-Jamal. So check this out, right? On Instagram this week, I made a post that says some bridges need to be burned. People be telling us, they be saying, don't burn bridges, right? But some bridges need to be burned. What we have to understand about Mumia's case, we have to understand that this case is not about justice, it's not about equality, it's not about truth, it's about injustice, it's about inequality. More importantly, it's definitely not about evidence. You understand the case of Mumia Abu-Jamal. The lawyers just put in this PCRA. And in the PCRA, it clearly shows how witnesses were bribed and bought off by the district attorney.
That ain't right.
This case is not about evidence, it's not about justice, it's about racism. It's about hate. It's about what Brother Gabe said earlier, that bastard Frank Rizzo.
That ain't right.
But you know, when we talk about this post that I made earlier, some bridges need to be burned.
Burn them down.
People burn them down. And the reason they need to be burned is the reason people say don't burn bridges is because you may have to go back and use this bridge for something. But when it comes to this system, we don't need that system for anything. Earlier this week, Dr. Crystal Strong and I, we were working on a project for the MOVE Activist Gallery. We're building a MOVE, we're collecting the archives for MOVE, and eventually building a museum about the MOVE organization's history. Despite what you may think about the MOVE organization, there's no justification for the government dropping the bomb on us and killing our family, and then locking their bodies and the children in a goddamn museum. So we want to tell the history. But as we're working on this project, we came down here to the Municipal Services Building because there was a mural that wrapped around this entire building, and members of the activist community in Philadelphia was on this mural. People like Pan Africa, and Ramona Africa, and Dr. Crystal Strong, and Yane Indigo, and many other organizers. We came down here to shoot a video in front of the mural. When we got down here, we realized that the mural was gone. People that run the Municipal Services Building took it down, didn't notify any of the people that were on it, and possibly destroyed the mural. Now, back to this thing about some bridges need to be burned. I bet, with my last dollar, I bet that they didn't destroy that Frank Rizzo statue. They didn't destroy that statue. All those Confederate statues that they took down south, they put them in a nice, cozy place
so that they can reinstall them at another time. But when it comes to change and people that are working to create change, they take those banners, they take those monuments, and they throw them in a dumpster. Because they don't care about us. And this is why Mumia Abu-Jamal is in prison and has been for the last 40 years. Because he exposes this type of injustice itself right here. And they don't want people talking about these things because, as the brother said earlier, they want to keep the system going to promote them. But they are not us. The them, they are not us. We don't benefit from this system, which is why some bridges need to be burned. And for all of us out here, I'd love for us to be the ones to pour the gasoline, light the fire to burn that bridge down, and allow the fire that blazed from it to be the light for the other people coming behind us. Mumia Abu-Jamal has thrown many matches, burning bridges of injustice through his journalism, explaining and speaking about injustice and exposing injustice. People fired him from his jobs. He was driving a cab because he was trying to make ends meet, because different radio stations that he worked for didn't have the guts to promote him and encourage him and allow him to speak his truth. So in 1981, while he's driving that cab, he sees his brother caught up in this thing. His brother's being beat with a flashlight by a police officer. The police officer gets shot and killed. Two eyewitnesses say they saw Mumia kill Officer Daniel Faulkner. And neither of those witnesses are credible at all. At all. One was paid and asked for his money. Hey, Joe McGill, I need my money. Wrote it in a letter. And, you know, I've been trying to figure out for the life of me, I don't understand it. Maybe it's pompousness, arrogance, I don't know what it is. But for some reason, they actually kept that letter. They don't even respect that we can free Mumia even if we find out they lying. That's the problem. That's the real problem. They don't even respect the energy of the people enough to destroy the evidence that can free our people. The other witness, she had so many years of jail time that she was facing, and the district attorney, Joseph McGill, wiped her slate for those cases clean if she would say that Mumia was the shooter. She changed her story multiple times because her story did not fit the story the cops were telling her to say. These are the only two eyewitnesses who say they saw Mumia kill Officer Daniel Faulkner. And just like everything else in this system, those witnesses were liars. It is far past time for us to light these matches and burn those bridges. Before we burn these last ones, we gotta free Mumia Abu-Jamal. Free Mumia Abu-Jamal! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! On the move.
Yeah. Give it up here for Mike. Africa Junior. So what we're going to do is we're going to start passing around these signs for you all to hold, because we're going to be hitting the streets soon. If we can get these passed around to the family, that would be wonderful. We want to make sure that we hold on to some flyers and some posters as we're walking. And so we want to hold these, so please feel free to pass these around to folks. There's other signs as well that are going around. As we're preparing, I want to bring up somebody who we all know why she's here. In fact, if we're being honest, the reason why many of us are here is because of her.
All right, Paine.
She's been our champion, she's been our guide, and even from the realm of love, not fear, yes, our rock for sure. Even with Love Not Fear, she's been somebody who has been great in conversation. I'm honored to be her shoulders.
That's right, shoulder.
And more importantly, I'm excited and always motivated by her conviction and her unwavering strength. So with that being said, y'all, please pay attention, get motivated before we hit the streets. Give it up for Mama Paine, y'all.
All right, now on the move. I want to thank each and every last one of y'all for being out here today. The struggle continues. I want to tell you about a visit I had with Mumia with Ozzie Davis. Some of you might not know who Ozzie Davis is. You know, Ozzie Davis was an activist. He was a movie star. And but most of all, he was a damn good stand-up, don't back down brother who stood by Mumia. We went up to visit him one day, and when Ozzie came out, he tapped me on the arm. He said, "You know what, Pam?" I said, "What?" He said, "I just visited a free man." Can I say that again? A free man on death row. See, our cry must be, release Mumia! Release Mumia now! Mumia's a free man. He do not back down, suck up under any circumstances. Mumia has brought to light all the ills inside the prison, outside the prison, and brought troopers from around the world to stand up against injustice. Mumia, who is now 67, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. At 68, give him that year, 68. And today, around the world, people are still rising up for Mumia. What's good about this time right now is like we've always had evidence to prove that Mumia is innocent. But just like number 45, you know that motherfucker, Trump. The loudest, and he got the background of the Republican, and I'll still say the Democratic Party, because the motherfucker is not in jail. The innocence of Mumia is evident around the world. Do you think the First Lady of France, Daniel Faulkner, who marched in front of 10,000 people to say that Mumia is innocent? She came here in this building across the street. She told the then mayor, Ed Rendell, I could have been hosted here as the First Lady of France, but I chose to visit Mumia Abu-Jamal. I didn't come here to see your Liberty Bell. I didn't come here to sit and break bread with criminals. She came to sit at the table for the freedom of Mumia and to bring all that she represented with her. Her translator was Julia Wright, and who made sure a lot of things happened in France for her. Claude Peugeot, Jackie Hotel, if I'm pronouncing it right, and but you know, people in Germany and France, Sister Charlotte O'Neill from Africa, don't back down. She left there, came here to sit in the room with Mumia and go back. And I'm going to tell you how powerful it is. She had on all her religious bracelets, anklets, everything around her neck. In order to get in the prison, you're supposed to take all that off. But truly, this is a movement that is guided by the source of life. She walked through there without taking none of it off. But while we're here today, we're not here just to march and rally and say that this is 30 years, 40 years since the day that they sentenced Mumia to death. But clearly, for 40 years, while they hoping and praying and doing all kind of things to Mumia, I'm going to point out, the 30 years Mumia sat on death row, he wasn't sick one of them days. Oh, he had colds. But the minute, because they was hopeful that they will put this live human body and inject it with a poison that would take his life. So for 30 years, they didn't do anything because that's what they wanted. When they failed, that's when the medical neglect happened. Year after year after year, they attempted to kill Mumia to the point that he was, bang, that far from death. But this is a movement, I say again, is guided by the source. The source that brought you here, you here, you here, you here, and put those officers in them cars there so that they can hear, so that they can see the truth. I'm saying we are not without power. We're very powerful. Okay, I want to point out to you, there's a new book about Mumia. The Trials of Mumia Abu-Jamal by Todd Burrows just came out. You want some evidence? You want something to talk about? Because God knows we've given you something to talk about. When you go home, take this book with you. When you go home, if you don't have the Jamal Journal, take that with you, full of evidence to free Mumia, factual, the framing, the attempted killing, the movement around the world. It's here. The intellectual Mumia, Murder Incorporated by him and Steve Vittorio, is here. I'm saying we are not without. This is book 1, there's a book 2, and here's evidence by Lynn Washington. When we had these motherfuckers pent against the wall and they couldn't move, this is during the time that you saw on 11th Street, from 10th to 11th, the banner that was there showing Michael Africa and all the non-move members demanding their freedom. This is during the time that at a garage, one that cost some big money, they took 3 floors, it might have been 2, I have a tendency to exaggerate numbers. And so it might have been 2. But the garage for a week showed with big pictures and everything. I'm going to my Dick Gregory thing to give you an example of what is going on right now. That was happening. On the walls over here was the pictures of Move People and other activists, Crystal, Yane, and up around here was more activists, and on the other side was activists. The movement was gearing, and people was like, whoa. They were saying, damn, here's Move. And then the new movies and things that was coming out. Dick Gregory himself said, watch yourself, because when they come at you, tell people to look at the part that they don't see. Move 9 had just came out the prison. Oh yeah, there is some differences in things that's happening there, and but the fight for the freedom of people in the streets and outside the streets is undeniable. In every family, name me one, and every organization, there are problems within there. No different in this organization. My name is Mama Pam. My name is Mama Pam. I am the mother of June. I am the mother of Rose. I am the mother of Bill and Kevin and my in-law, my sons, and Bush and Deesh. And their names is different. And but when a government comes at you the way they're coming at us, stop and think. Absent the movement that we have been pulling around Mumia, look and see what the government is doing. I Googled Pam Africa this morning. Yeah. And the first thing come up there is nothing to do with what is happening here. I can't say I wasn't shocked. They're trying to remove the movement right now. So I'm saying to people, and and just to the people, not just to the people out there, but the people out there. Mumia's life is on the line. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. Come on. Mumia's life is on the line. I respect those who stand up and continue the fight, because it ain't about Pam, it's not about Crystal, it's not about you. This fight is about the people around the world, which we represent. Which we represent. So I'm saying to people who have a problem with us today, you should be somewhere in the city talking about what's happening with Mumia. You should be somewhere in other countries and other places joining with those who are doing work. We ain't all gotta be in the same spot, but we damn sure gotta be.
Come on.
We gotta be. I want to end this by saying, and all the different groups, the New York Coalition, the brother who brought the people down, I'm CRS, can't remember shit, I tried, and but the brother who brought the people down in the buses, and that's always there, and the people that rode the buses, Gil from the New York Coalition. I want to thank the brothers that I had never met before, who heard about it, that brought 2 carloads here today, because they heard, they saw. Raise your hand, raise your hand. And the brothers and the sisters, you know who you are, and you too many names to remember. And but thank you for being here. Them little shows, and big in integrity, big in humanity, big in I will tear this motherfucker down. Those shows who give a damn about what's going on in the prison, as each and every last one of us. There's a minister amongst us, there's a pastor amongst us, and his name is called right there. Pastor Collins, Pastor Keith Collins, and Dr. Collins, who have been victims of this government. They stand and fight. The brother here that's been on WRD. And the sister here you see on the internet, Starlight. And are always putting Mumia names out. Gwen, Betsy, Hugh, Dag, everybody. So I can't do every name. Steve back here. Please pick up this information. And things that people should do, you should take this information back. And because we have to October the 19th, we got to show by being in the streets, being in the churches, confronting politicians about what it is that they're not doing. People say that, well, that should be in Philly. Oh, hell no, Philly too, but it should be in New York. It should be in LA. It should be all throughout the United States. When we had massive numbers, that's the way it was. So I'm saying we need to continue. We need to pick up, knock on any door and every door that we can. On the move, let's rise up. Let's get ready to let this city know that we are not without power. We are powerful, and we're going to powerfully take these streets. On the move.
No peace.
No peace.
Real quick, y'all. Hopefully everybody has a sign. But I want to make sure also for the camera, because we're also streaming live right now. If you can repeat it to me, I want to shout out and say all power to all the cities who are orders right now who are doing actions. So everybody say, all power Chicago.
All power Chicago.
All power Newark.
All power New York.
All power Jackson, Mississippi.
All power Jackson, Mississippi.
All power Oakland.
All power Oakland.
All power Houston.
All power Houston.
All power Olympia.
All power Olympia.
All power Cleveland.
All power Cleveland.
All power LA.
All power LA.
All power DC.
All power DC.
All power San Fran.
All power San Fran.
All power Capitol Heights.
All power Capitol Heights.
All power Detroit.
All power Detroit.
All power Boston.
All power Boston.
All power Brooklyn.
All power Brooklyn.
All power Rochester.
All power Rochester.
And all power the whole world.
All power the whole world.
Give it up, y'all. Free Mumia.
Brick fight brick.
Free Mumia.
Brick fight brick.
I also want to say, just because we live, and I know that sometimes we don't always say it, but I want to acknowledge somebody real quick because say free Ant.
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 I also want to say, you know, there's a lot of names that I mentioned that y'all name first mentioned, and so we keep all the names in our hearts. One of the things that Mumia Abu-Jamal is very clear about is fighting for those besides themselves, known and unknown. There's a lot of names that we know about, a lot of names who we write about, a lot of names who we do teachings about and panel discussions about and town homes and rallies. But the whole Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, this whole Commonwealth is full of our family members, our neighbors, our cousins and them, our aunties, our uncles, right? Those on the block locked up for reasons why they shouldn't be locked up. And so we want to support that because they also are dealing with outdoor abuse, the same poor food, the same poor diet, and the same poor health care. So we say free them all, we mean that. Free them all?
Free them all.
Free them all?
Free them all.
Free them all.
Free them all.
All right, y'all. Hopefully, if y'all in the back too, come see us with your signs. We're about to get started in the streets, y'all. Get some water. We're about to get started, y'all. Let's get started to shut these streets down.
Shout out Philly.
We in Philly. If you need anything to be set back, if you have for anything for the Unjust folks, remember people out of town, If we can individuals back here, so if you have a bag or two, you want to have to respond to, we can do that. We can put the bags behind here, and the folks back there.
Cindy, I'm heading out. I'll stay, sticking around.
Yes, and also once we return, we're going to get those signs back. So just remember to make sure that we get the signs back returned once we get started, all right? These signs here, all the signs will be returned at the close of the march. We're going to finish up right here. We won't be out too long, but we'll be here strong so we can make sure that we show our power. If it ends here, we'll be done hopefully about half an hour. No longer than that. If people can't grab the banners, please, we want to get started, please, so we can grab these very fast. Because the thing about it is,
it's time to take the streets, y'all. You ready to take the streets? I said, are you ready to take the streets? Free Mumia! 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 Whose streets? 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 Hands up! Fight back! Hands up! 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 Free Mumia! 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 No justice! No peace! 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 No justice!
no peace,
No justice!
no peace,
No justice!
no peace.
What's the call? Free them all! What's the call?
Free them all!
What's the call?
Free them all!
What's the call?
Free them all!
Say what's the call?
Free them all!
What's the call?
Free them all!
What's the call?
Free them all!
Say what's the call?
Free them all!
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 Say what's the call?
Free them all!
And if we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
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 said if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
no justice,
No peace! Everybody set, right? Everybody good, right? Everybody's all right? I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling powerful right now. I'm feeling powerful right now, no problem.
what do we want? Mumia's release. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Mumia's release!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Mumia's release!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Mumia's release!
When do we want
Now.
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 said if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
what do we want?
Mumia's release.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want?
Mumia's release.
When do we want it?
Now.
Then when do we want?
Mumia's release.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want?
Mumia's release.
When do we want it?
Now.
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 said if we don't get it,
Now.
what do we want?
Mumia's release.
What do we want?
Now. Mumia's release.
When do we want it?
Now.
Then when do we want?
Mumia's release.
When do we want it?
Now.
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 said if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 said if we don't get it,
Shut it down. Brick by brick,
wall by wall,
We
we're
gonna-
going to free Mumia.
Abu-Jamal. Brick by brick,
Wall by wall, we're going to free
Mumia Abu-Jamal. Say what? Brick by brick, wall by wall, we're
We're
gonna.
going to free Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Say what?
Brick by brick,
Wall by wall.
we're going to free Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Say what?
Brick by brick,
Wall by wall, we're gonna free.
Mumia
Abu-Jamal. Say what? Brick by brick.
wall by wall, we're going to free Mumia
Abu-Jamal. Say what? Brick by brick.
wall by wall, we're going to
Free. Mumia Abu-Jamal. Say what? Brick by brick. Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal. Say what? Brick by brick. Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal. Say what?
brick by brick,
Wall by wall, we're gonna free.
Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Say what?
Brick by brick.
Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia. All right, look. Check this out, right? Tomorrow's July 4th. A lot of people come to Philadelphia because they say they want to celebrate independence and freedom and equality and justice. But we're here today to tell you that 40 years ago, there was an injustice. A political prisoner, a brother, black man, was put in prison, and he's been in prison since then for 40 years. He is innocent, he's been framed, and we're fighting to get him released. His name is Mumia Abu-Jamal. For all the tourists that come to Philadelphia, because you say you want to see what liberty looks like, you want to view the Liberty Bell, well, understand something, that the city of Philadelphia is not about liberty or justice as long as they hold political prisoners inside of these walls. Right now, we're outside of City Hall. This City Hall building has been power washed, it's been sandblasted, plenty of mops have been scrubbing the floors of this building, but they will never cleanse the dirt and the crime and the murder and the blood off of this building. There's so many people, so many brothers, so many sisters that have been imprisoned unjustly because of this building. So when you come to the city of Philadelphia, we want you to understand that there's a lot of injustice, and until we actually free our political prisoners, we are not free. There is no liberty. So right now, today, we're here to say, brick by brick and wall by wall, we're going to free Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Brick by brick.
What side are you on, my people? What side are you on?
We on the freedom side.
Brick by brick.
Wall by wall, we're gonna free.
Who?
Mumia
Huh?
Abu-Jamal.
Say what?
Brick by brick.
That's right.
Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal. Brick by brick. Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal. Brick by brick.
That's right.
Abu-Jamal.
I will free Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Say what?
Brick by brick.
Okay.
Wall by wall, we're gonna free.
Yeah.
Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Say what?
Brick by brick.
That's right.
Wall by wall, we're gonna free.
Who?
Mumia
How?
Abu-Jamal.
Say what?
Brick by brick.
That's right.
Wall by wall, we're gonna free.
Who?
Mumia
How?
Abu-Jamal.
Say what?
Brick by brick.
That's right.
Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal. Brick by brick. Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal. Brick by brick. Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal. Brick by brick. Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal.
That's right.
Brick by brick. Wall by wall, we're gonna free. Mumia Abu-Jamal.
That's right.
Brick by brick. Wall by wall. Free Mumia Abu-Jamal.
40 years.
40 years, y'all.
40 years. If you've never heard of him, his name is Mumia Abu-Jamal. He was put in prison by the racist system. Frank Rizzo, who was a racist mayor in the city of Philadelphia, framed and put Mumia in prison for a crime that everybody know he did not commit. And we out here today to say that we're trying to free Mumia. He's been in prison for 40 years unjustly. For the last couple years, the whole country has been in this so-called positive change and progressive state since the murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and so many others. They pretend that they want to make a change for the better for the people in this country, for black lives. But actually, there's a lot of black lives that are still in prison because of this injustice in this country. And we out here today to say that one of those people is right here in the city of Philadelphia. And his name is Mumia Abu-Jamal.
That's right.
Just because he wore dreadlocks, just because he supported the MOVE organization, just because he told the truth, just because he spoke when they told him to shut up, Mumia Abu-Jamal has been a target. But we are here, and we are here to fight for the freedom of Mumia Abu-Jamal. Just like we fight for the freedom of anybody else that speak out about the injustices in the country. And you got to understand that today, the July 3rd, tomorrow is Independence Day, the same way that George Washington and all of those freedom fighters for hundreds of years ago supposedly fought for the country for freedom against the British. That's the same way we out here fighting in the country against the injustice of the country of the United States of America.
Yes, sir.
Joe Biden is a liar. Donald Trump was a liar. Every other politician that get up there and talk about they want to make changes for the better for the people in the country, we're here to tell you right now that there are people locked up around this country unjustly because of these politicians. And we ain't here to cause no disturbance other than the fact that we out here to say free Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Yes,
we want you to enjoy yourselves, but if you can't enjoy, if you cannot align with us and freedom, then it ain't gonna be no peace. There ain't gonna be no peace because if ain't no justice, there's no peace. No justice,
no peace.
no justice,
No justice.
no peace.
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 No justice.
No peace. One more. Let's switch it up a little bit. No justice. No peace. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal release. No justice.
No peace. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal release. No justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal release.
No justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal release.
No justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal release. No justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal release. No justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no
Justice.
no peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice.
No peace. No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release.
No justice.
No peace.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release.
No justice.
No peace.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release.
No peace.
Right here.
Hold it here.
We hold court right
Hold it
here.
here, right here. Hold it right here.
No peace. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice.
No peace.
Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release.
Listen, family. Don't ever think about numbers. We could be large and mighty. We could be small and mighty. I don't give a damn if it's 50 of us, 50,000 of us, a million of us, or goddamn it by myself. We're gonna shut down these streets, is that right? We're gonna release our brother, is that right? We're gonna stand strong, is that right? We got our fists clenched, is that right? We gotta free them all, is that right? This is our streets. This is our people. Our streets. 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 Our people.
Our streets. Our people. Our streets. Our people. Our streets. Our people.
Let's stand strong, y'all. Unified. When we fight, we win. Is that right? That's right. When we fight, we win. 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 And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. Said if we don't get it, what do we want? Mumia's release. When do we want it? Now.
What do we want? When do we want it? Say, when do we want? When do we want it? Say, when do we want? When do we want it? Say, when do we want? When do we want it? And if we don't get it, if we don't get it, we shut it down. If we don't get it, we shut it down. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, said if we don't get it, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice, no peace, no justice,
No peace.
no justice, no peace. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice,
No peace.
no justice,
No peace.
no justice, no peace. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace, no peace. Till Mumia Abu-Jamal's release, no justice, no peace, no peace.
My voice is done, but it's all right. Yeah, feel free to take the streets out. Take the streets. You're still in the shade. You're still in the shade. Take the streets. Come on, y'all. We need to the streets. We need everybody. Yeah. Because we wanted to acknowledge those in our movement who have passed on. Can y'all hear me? So, a couple names that we must acknowledge in our movement who are fallen soldiers in our movement. We say their names and we raise their names and we thank them eternally Christ for their service. First and foremost, we want to thank eternally our dear brother Russell Maroon Show. Presente Ashe. Recently, Thomas Blood McCleary, Black Panther Party of BLA. With that, we say Presente, and we say Ashe. Rest in power to the comrade. We also want to say thank you to a couple of fallen soldiers here in Philadelphia as well, who were released in Africa. Ashe, rest in power, and Chucky Africa. Ashe. We also want to give thanks to Consuela and to all the names, because this year represented, as we all know, sadly enough, on May 13th, 1985, so 22, it's so hard for me to say, 37 years of the MOVE bombing, and what that meant for us. That was a story that Mumia always covered in his work. We recognize that loss in our work, what it meant to our movement. Other names who we've lost, we must represent right now. Call them out, please. All the soldiers. Middle Africa. Ashe. Ashe. And all the names, y'all, and all the names. Because it's only when we call these names out that they live on through us. With our work, our dedication and devotion, they live on. Those names will never be forgotten. They will live on. They do live on through us and our work. So Mumia Abu-Jamal calls on us. In fact, he demands of us to know those names, remember those names, and live up to those names. I say to Lynn Stewart, indeed. So we're going to keep things pushing, and we're going to keep moving. We have one speaker. No, we're going to keep moving. Y'all ready to keep pushing, right? We almost over. Y'all ready? Rizzo, Mumia?
I want to stop for just a second, right? There's this building. See this building behind us, this blue building? Tall, young. Okay, now let's keep walking. I'm going to tell y'all a story about that building. Before that building was completed, this must have been 20 years ago, I guess, we were having a protest just like this one. And as we were walking, there were construction workers maybe about 10 floors up. Racist construction workers, and they began to throw debris and trash and bricks and construction material at us as we were protesting around City Hall. And there was thousands of us out here that day. And Pam Africa said, wait a minute. We are not going to start walking again until those construction workers come down out of that building, because we do not trust that they will not try to hurt someone or kill someone with their antics. And the police said, well, we have to move this thing, we have to open up traffic. Pam said, ain't nothing moving until we bring them down. And the new chant began. Bring them down. Bring them down. Bring them down. Bring them down. So now check this out, right? So the police captain came over to us and he said, Pam, I want you to move this demonstration. These are union workers, union wages. It will take them hours or an hour to get all of them down. And we promise you that if you walk past, they will not throw anything else. Pam said, I don't trust you, and I don't trust them. Bring them down. Nothing moves until we bring them down. And of course, after miles and miles of backed up traffic, before long, construction workers were walking down the steps and coming down elevators. We brought them down. Now, with that same understanding and that same energy, that same intensity, that same dedication, not only will we use that energy to bring them down, we will use that energy to free Mumia Abu-Jamal. 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 Free Mumia For people that want to take cover under the building, get a little shade, have some water, please do that right now. I know it's hot out here. Appreciate everybody for coming out here, for staying out here. It's hot. The temperature is cremate, but we got to stay hydrated and make sure we protect each other. So, what's up?
Oh, nothing. I thought she was collecting posters.
All right, y'all.
So, we only have a couple speakers left, and then we're going to depart as one people, as one movement. And we're going to get out of here safely. The folks who are out of town, you can head back out of town. But we want to make sure that we get the final work of marching orders before we go. All right? So, first and foremost, we're going to go right to our first speaker. Again, only about 2 speakers here, y'all. We're going to finish up. All right? You just heard Crystal on the mic.
a hardcore, long-term member of BLM Philly, supporter of Mumia Abu-Jamal, all political prisoners. Also does tons of work with the family across the diaspora as well. So give it up, y'all, please, for Crystal Strong, y'all.
Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Now, that's right. Y'all bear with me. I lost my voice doing those chants a little bit. This city has a lot of fucking nerve. This country has a lot of fucking nerve to be celebrating so-called freedom this weekend. When this city, when this country does more to obstruct freedom to black people, to brown people, to poor people, to people around the world than anyone else around the world. Am I right? I want to believe that everybody here understands that Mumia Abu-Jamal is an innocent man. So I'm not even going to talk about the facts of the case. The fact that we know that Mumia Abu-Jamal is in prison not because of any crime, but because of his voice, because of his contribution to our freedom struggle. They thought that by imprisoning him, by putting him on death row, that would kill his voice, that it would kill his position in our movement, in our freedom struggle. But this is where they messed up. Mumia Abu-Jamal's voice is more powerful than ever. Am I right? It's stronger than ever. Am I right? Mumia, as incarcerated, as much of a political prisoner as he is, has done an incalculable service to our freedom struggle.
That's right. And that's what I'm interested in elevating on this day. My brother Mike Africa Jr., he didn't mention this during his time, but for over a year now, we have been building with the community at 7th and Wallace, which is the neighborhood where Mumia Abu-Jamal grew up. There are elders there who remember growing up with Mumia, right? Even for the community members there who didn't know Mumia, who were born after Mumia lived there, you know, they heard about Mumia. They understand. Everybody who hears Mumia's story knows that he's been set up by the system, knows that he should be released now, right? We talk to babies, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds, right? They could barely say Mumia's name. Some of them said Mumia Abu-Jamal. But they understood that Mumia should be released. They understood the injustice that has been done to them. And my point here is saying that this isn't rocket science, right? We don't have to go too long talking about the realities of the injustice against Mumia. It's evident. But perhaps what we forget is how much Mumia's fight, our fight to free Mumia, has mobilized, has galvanized, has encouraged people around the world to fight. I was talking to a comrade of mine who is a black educator in Brazil. His name is Amilcar, after the Amilcar. He has been in the black movement in Brazil since he was a child. He was raised in the black movement. And he sent me a message. He didn't know anything about my support of Mumia, but he sent me a message that I just want to read to you, where he was talking about Mumia's importance to the freedom movement in Brazil, right? So he said that in 1996, and mind you, this is when Mumia is still on death row, he said that Mumia sent a message to the First Continental Congress of Black People of the Americas. And he said in the letter, and this is a quote, he said, "Brazilian brothers and sisters." He talked about how his Black heart was filled with pride to know about Brazilian Black history, how it had encouraged him. He talked about the great freedom fighter Zumbi. He talked about the Maroons in Brazil, the Quilombos in Brazil. And he said, and this is another quote, "We North Americans are energized and inspired by the heroic movements of Black resistance in Brazil, the largest Black community outside of Africa." That's right. The point I'm trying to make here is that Mumia on death row made time to encourage Black freedom fighters around the world. How many of you have been to an action right here in the city of Philadelphia where Mumia himself has called in to tell us he loves us, to encourage us, right? And my point here is that Mumia models the solidarity that is going to free him. Mumia models the solidarity that we have to show if we want to free Mumia. We fight for Mumia's freedom because we believe in Mumia's innocence. We believe that he deserves to be free, that he deserves to be returned to his family, to his community. But other than that, we fight for Mumia's freedom because we recognize that we're next. Anybody who fights against this system is at risk of being a political prisoner. In 2020, the historic uprisings that galvanized a Black uprising, a Black rebellion in the city of Philadelphia and around the world, it resulted in a wave of political imprisonment, a wave of people being faced with charges like our dear brother Ann Smith, and countless hundreds of thousands of people who the system wants to keep in a cage, just like they're keeping Mumia Abu-Jamal in a cage. And the thing I want to tell you that you might not be aware of is that this is not just happening in the U.S. It's happening around the world. We're connected with comrades in Ghana and West Africa. They did a solidarity protest in June 2020. Mind you, solidarity with what we are facing here in the U.S. And we had comrades who were kidnapped by their own governments and are facing charges for being in solidarity with us. How many of you heard about this? I'm guessing not many, right? The point I'm trying to make here is that to receive solidarity, you have to give solidarity, right? If we want to free Mumia, yes, we have to show up on July 3rd. We have to show up and shut shit down. But we also got to stand with political prisoners all around the world. And they will stand with us. So the message is simple. We have to keep fighting, but we also have to expand the fight, right? The prison system, the criminal injustice system, it doesn't stop at the U.S. borders, right? I don't know, are y'all hearing me, right? Now, I want to say one more thing before I leave. Free Mumia, that's a fact, that's a reality, that's what will happen. But I also want to make sure that you are all aware of other spaces where we have to fight and show up right here in the city of Philadelphia, that Mumia would want us to fight and show up right here in the city of Philadelphia. One of my dear elders, Miss Darlene, couldn't be here today to speak about the struggle to save the University City townhomes, but I want to deliver a message on her behalf. How many of you heard of the UC townhomes? All right, a good amount, but not enough. This week, a developer by the name of Altman, that is not unlike many developers that we're dealing with here in the city of Philadelphia, that are displacing Black people, poor people, brown people all over the city, Philadelphia, and around the world. That ain't right. They're set to evict over 70 Black families from the only affordable housing community in the so-called University City, aka Penn, University of Pennsylvania gentrification land. That ain't right. And they are going to win in displacing Black people unless we stop them. Stop them now. There are almost 40 properties around the city that are going to suffer the same fate, that are going to price Black and brown and poor people out, that are going to forcibly evict Black and brown and poor people out. And if we want a city of Philadelphia that is affordable to Philadelphians, we have to fight back. And so I want to invite you to join the fight. Fight, fight, fight. Fight, fight, fight. Fight, fight, fight. So commit this to memory. July 9th at 3 p.m. Say it with me. July 9th at 3 p.m. July 9th at 3 p.m. We are going to shut shit down and send a message to all these shady-ass developers, to the city of Philadelphia, that Black people won't be displaced from our communities without a fight. If you want to learn more, to show up, go to SaveUCTownhomes.com. Go to @SaveUCTownhomes on Facebook, on IG, on Twitter. Join us. Show up. We're going to have a rally on July 9th at 3 p.m. at 40th and Market, which is where the University City townhomes are. And guess what else we're going to do? As my dear elder, Miss Darlene says, we ain't going nowhere. And so we're going to need your support. July 9th at 3 p.m. Free Mumia? Free Mumia? Free them all.
Give it up, y'all. Save UC Townhome. It's a beautiful thing. You know, we said 1 to 5 p.m. on the flyer, but y'all gonna get out early. Like it's, you know, remember back in school, they used to say, hey, y'all can get out early. We're not gonna be out here at 5 o'clock. We'll be out of here hopefully in the next 15 minutes, which is great. Y'all have the rest of your day. Do what you gotta do. Get on the road, whatever you gotta do, y'all. So yeah, you're getting out of here before 5. But with that being said, I want to bring up a dear friend of mine. We said that the art is a weapon. Is that right? We already heard from Shice. We're going to give it up to another award-winning poet, somebody who's champion Mumia. If you were in the Arch Street Church, actually, about 4 years ago, he did some stuff back then. So give it up again, y'all, for my brother and yours, for the Kerwin Sutherland, y'all.
What's up, everybody? All right, so first I want to say that I'm a poet, and as a poet, it's my job to disseminate all of the literature about Mumia and that Mumia wrote. We all have our specific places in the movement, so take yours. So first, I'm going to read something from Mumia by way of Johanna Fernandez from Writings on the Wall. So, amen. People mark time by events held in common and shared moments of joy and sorrow. Cities, although artificial, non-organic bodies mark time similarly. Paris is known today as the city of lights, but the dark shadow of the Nazi occupation is still within the memory of the living. Yes, cities hold memories, locked in the minds and souls of its inhabitants. Paris had its occupation, Beirut its saber and chatilla, and Philadelphia its move bombing. So I'm gonna write a poem based on this crazy experience I had of a black church inviting Wilson Good to speak about redemption. So as you know, I was pretty pissed off. So yeah. Mayor Wilson Good caught fire. His tongue nearly a sermon on the mount. Every time he mounts a cross, fire drops. Whole front row bent at the neck, white as 8-out block, gutted rows of fallen child of God. What is seen when the mayor closed his eyes to pray? I suppose so much nothing, he must ignite himself, fast, without crosshairs, let it fall like the balm in Gilead, and the congregation opens the air, seeks amen in his rhythm, with the pews cracking open a hymn, victory is mine, victory is mine, victory today is mine, a sermon mounting the people to try and extinguish spirits. I can't say who invited who and why the church's Black History program chose the man with blood stitched to his hands to preach about redemption. I cackled, barely audible. I cackled, barely audible at the preacher. Preacher, redemption requires salvation from sin. When did you get saved? When did you come to Philly bare so everyone could see your scorched hands? That church's Black History program must have been paid. I can't say if they went digging through Rizzo's muddy pockets or were contacted by the city. I mean, same cash made force trying to extinguish the spirit. Sometimes the people don't know that this mounted sermon can spoil. Victory today is not the first black mayor of Philadelphia trying to flood his history out the hymns, seeking amens from a congregation enamored with the suit and the dancing rhythm of a death salesman. We, Black Philadelphians, in the crosshairs of an old white system, turned a black politician. Let that sink into your bones. Like a bomb, come to ignite your skin. Thank you.
Our brother Kerwin always ignites the mic. This joint is hot right now. This joint is hot. I can barely touch it, bro. With that being said, y'all, I want to give it up again for Kerwin, y'all, for providing his word. Next, I want to give it up for somebody who I really want to appreciate because she's had a very powerful journey in this work that I follow. When I think about Workers' World Party, editing that work and the work that goes into it, the work to support workers and amplify Mumia Abu-Jamal, all political prisoners, I think about the political being personal and the personal being political. And I want to say this, y'all, we're going to miss this person when this person leaves in a little bit. But this person's been dedicated, this person's been devoted, this person's been a comrade, this person's been on the front lines for a long time, and has connected many of the important work needed in this city. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, family, my comrade Teddy Kelly, give it up for my man Teddy, y'all. Comrade Teddy is somebody who you should know. Not only is Teddy somebody who writes the struggle, but she works the struggle. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah. Teddy Kelly, y'all. Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free them all!
I owe everything I know about political organizing, the Workers' World Party and the movement to free Mumia Abu-Jamal, to Pam Africa and Mike Africa Jr. and Asantua and Yane and Pam and Yane and Joe and Betsy. And this movement has birthed generations of revolutionaries fighting for Mumia Abu-Jamal. I want to go back to something Crystal said about the organizing within the community in the neighborhood that Mumia grew up. Because the struggle for revolution in this country and around the world, we have to transform the way that human beings interact with each other. This country, the ideology of this country is fetid and backwards, and it smashes solidarity. It destroys community. While we were marching, Mike told the story about the construction workers in this building here who were throwing debris and garbage at a march to free Mumia. These were union workers. Yep. You think, you know, we're in the midst of a huge union drive now. This is very important. Workers fighting for each other in the workplace, understanding that they have common grievances, and uniting for the power in the workplace. But they're going to draw a line at fighting for the black struggle? This is individualism. This is against community. This is against revolution. If we want to fight to transform this society, we need everybody on board. But here's the thing, oppressed people cannot wait. The black liberation struggle cannot wait for everyone else to realize, oh, you know what, this is a pretty racist society. They can't wait. That's why the black liberation struggle is the leadership of the revolutionary workers' struggle in the United States and around the world. If you are not fighting for Mumia Abu-Jamal, you are not fighting for the man who has dedicated his life to fighting for you. 40 years. 40 years. This man has been in a dungeon for you and for me. Sundiata Acoli, Russell Maroon Shoatz, Mutulu Shakur, Delbert Africa. These are people who have put their lives on the line to fight for everyone. To fight for revolution, to change the way that human beings interact with each other. Now, tomorrow is July 4th, and we need to understand that this is not the land of white picket fences. It's the land of pointy white hoods. This is not the land of liberty. This is the land of mandatory minimums and juvenile lifers. And this is not the birthplace of democracy. This is the burial ground of John Africa, of Crazy Horse, of Sitting Bull, of Chairman Fred Hampton. And we do not need any more martyrs. We need soldiers. We need soldiers to fight this fight. Too many people have laid down their lives in service of a revolution that we still fight for. How much longer do you expect black liberation fighters to wait? How much longer are we supposed to wait for the freedom of Mumia Abu-Jamal? I just want to say, building community, supporting the efforts of these organizers who built this community here, supporting the UC townhomes. When? July 9th at 3 p.m. Be there. 40th and Market. Be there. And I just want to say, for the people who have used the movement to take power and then ignore the people that put them in power, we see you. Do you think we don't see you? Do you think we don't know when we've been betrayed? Larry Krasner? I just want to say, if you turn your back on this movement, and you turn your back on the struggle to free Mumia Abu-Jamal, you will take that shame to your grave. To your grave. Because the future is in the people. The future is in the people you see around you right now, and for everyone across the world in cities from Oakland to Philadelphia, from Germany to South Africa. This is the future. The future is the people, and that's why we say, all power to the people. All power to the people. Free all political prisoners. And free Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Terrie Kelly. Real quick, we have a quick announcement for the New York folks.
Hi, thanks. The New York crew, we're going to meet back at the same place we were dropped off at 4:20. 4:20. All right, see you all there.
We're about to get to our last speaker, but before we do that, I think it's important to share one more word, and it's important to share it from New York as well. I'm going to just let them get started because I don't want to even get, you know what I mean? We're going to get started.
Peace and blessings, everybody. It's an honor always to be here. Every time that we come out here, I've been coming out here. I think the first time I came out to Philly from Mumia, I was like 15. And all of my elders in New York was already telling us about Mumia, freedom for all political prisoners. And we grew up in Pan-Africanism. So long live all the Maroons. I just wanted to share this poem. I'm a poet and a drummer and singer. I want us to chant together, call and response. Freedom, 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 liberté, 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 liberté. L'union fait la force. L'union fait la force. L'union fait la force. L'union fait la force. Fuerza y unión. Fuerza y unión. Un corazón. Un corazón. Free, free, free. Free is to dance like Shango, que al Caribe llegó. From Mama Africa, where he's king of Oyo, to plantations, where he still shines though. And all who see him know, what he has is greater than oppression. Free spirits break chains, can't take repression. Balance fire with sweet waters, honey like Oshun. Conviction standing firm like tickled pickles on honeymoons. Night walk guarded, daylight greatness started. From us, dearly never departed. Distance connected, we love it wholehearted. Hood enough to know ghetto was always good enough. Not synonymous with the short change they give us, so we distrust, proving loyalty a must. We've been through so much with the crew, if we were copper, we'd been rust. Watching how they steal all sacred, even get at the earth's crust. But stronger we remain, so we myth bust. Free your mind, love man, will man free the land. Break through prison walls anointed with the fierceness of Asada's hands. Them hate to love, love to hate us, but our communities can't disband. Day to day off, plantations wane. Fuck Uncle Sam. And Uncle Tom and his cabin too. We build wigwams and cob homes. Dream of mountains like maroons. Squat homes and claim dignity. Their bullshit freedom was never free. Chase bank chasing Frank, Maria, Pedro, and Amadou. Abolish slavery. No prison pipeline when we're through. Imagine all you could be if you knew you. Reasons why they teach you them to keep you stuck in slave blues. Black story. His story, her story, our story, true story. Ask Lucy. If she could speak, she disowned the devil children that look unlike her own and spat on her legacy. We're so Harlem, our souls Harlem. East side to west, straight respect, blessed doctrine. Black-brown unity, Viva Puerto Rico free, NDR and IET and all held in captivity. Like a panther cage, released and still fighting to the grave. Say cool. Like the X replacing the little in our great hero's name. Like Mumia's consciousness, them can't tame. Like the revocation of the law that with nothing, we know they lame. Reasons why to make they mistake, try to replicate, but never the same. Like Baldwin's pen and Audre Lorde's scriptures. Like men raised by mothers, abandoned by many misters. Having to navigate life on both sides like a jester, cause they tried to keep her from the light. So she learned black magic, Tester. Torn between Dr. John Henry Clark and the truth in his remark that we got enough mileage out of marching, but you still a protester. Cause every time they lynch another, our feet and souls are covered with remnants of blood and tarred feathers. Pain, fermenting prejudice, like fuck John and Heather. Cause they never had to brave the cold without a sweater, always lived better, never milked a cow, but always had cheddar. We angry at Ramona, Africa's burn march, remembering how they bombed and on fire set her. Our heroes don't just rock shows, they clock bigots and racist po-po. We saw freedom like the rose in Pox Pros when the Panther Cubs uprose and took heat to the street for our people to be free. Lions searching for lionesses like Sophia Bukhari, who can't stand to see us suffering without feeling unrest and fight tirelessly, holding grace in the face of life's stress. Know that winter's always cold, but more quickly froze the bird that didn't build its nest. So though we may not change the world alone, we must do our part in leaving more cushion for the rest. Love your beauty, love your light. Know that white was never right. They just told a bigger lie, stole and sold, fallacies contrived. And life is always better by our people's side. So it's time to rise a different tide and love all those, every single which one those, every race, gender, creed, those that for freedom ride.
Yes, yes. So I just want to bring up our brother to close this out. But I hope that you have been informed today. I hope that you've gotten some information today, gotten some jewels today. Hopefully you were motivated, encouraged to bring home some more information. Again, we have some key dates in this case, next being October 19th. So we got 4 months, but there's going to be a lot in between that time as well, as we continue to mobilize and organize on behalf of Mumia Abu-Jamal's case and all political prisoners. With that being said, I want to bring up my brother and yours. This movement also helped to bring home his father in the fall. But more importantly, he's been on the front lines for a long time and has always provided a good word in our work for political prisoners and what needs to be done. He's currently also doing work with the Jericho Network, Love Not Fear, as well as specifically the Kamal Siddiqui campaign. So give it up, y'all, for our brother, Russell Schultz III, to close this out.
Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. I can't hear y'all. I can't hear, make some noise. I can't hear y'all. Make some noise for yourself. Make some noise for Mumia. I can't hear y'all. That's for Mumia? Bro. There's some buckshots and all of that. So, thank you first and foremost, all of you, for your solidarity, for bringing my father home, for bringing Sundiata home, for bringing the move. Now give it up for yourself. I can't hear y'all. Y'all didn't like that work y'all did? Y'all didn't like the work y'all did to bring those prisoners home? So, when I say what's the call, y'all say free them all. What's the call? Free them all. I can't hear y'all. What's the call? Free them all. And so, my father coming home has taught me a lot of things. I think the biggest thing that it has taught me in reference to trying to liberate the rest of our political prisoners is that we have to throw everything at the wall. We obviously haven't thrown everything at the wall for Mumia, okay? That is not a critique of any work that has been done up until this point. That's an add-on to say that work plus whatever else you could think of to throw at that wall. And so a lot of times what has happened is we've been dealt a lot of anger, we've been dealt a lot of fear, we've been dealt a lot of mistrust, a lot of dirty deeds. And that, in reflection, a lot of times has made us angry, and we have reacted angrily. And so now we are looking at the concept, and we are embodying the concept of love over fear. And it's important to understand that concept, specifically in the way that Mumia teaches, and the way that Mumia lives his life, and the way that Mumia models. And he has modeled that over these 40 years. And I think it is imperative that we come up with models like that to throw at this wall. And if you don't have that, then figure something else new and creative to do to throw at this wall. But do not stop throwing. So one of the things that happened with my dad's situation is that, and for a long time, we did not do work or enough work in my dad's campaign around electoral politics and electoral politicians. We did not do enough work around youth work and youth orgs. We did not do enough work outreach-wise to uncomfortable communities for us to go into. Not that those communities are uncomfortable. We did not preach outside of the choir. That's what we need right now, for us to preach outside the choir and to outreach, bring new people in, new young people in, and we were doing that with my dad's campaign, but also bringing in the spiritual community that has been devoid from this movement a lot. And so I beg of you to go out, talk to somebody new, do something different, break bread, go to the pub, go to the bar, go to the club, go to the barbershop, go to the police station, go to the church, go to the mosque, go to the synagogue, go to the sex workers, go to the most uncomfortable place that you could think of and do this work. Stop coming here to us. Go to the most uncomfortable place you can think of and have this conversation and break some bread and show some love and show who we are. Represent us. Represent this movement in another space, uncomfortably, but with love, not fear. Don't go in there with no fear. Go in there full of love, strong, embracing Mumia, his ideologies, his thoughts, his process. You know Mumia. You know how he would approach it. Go in that room and approach those people like that. Come from a place of love. Come from a place of wisdom. Don't come looking down at the people. We have to broaden this movement. That's one of the things we are not doing. We have to build solidarity in other places. Places that you've been uncomfortable. Places that I was uncomfortable doing work with my dad. I went into those places for the first time. And after that, and after doing spiritual work that I hadn't done for the first time, after praying with people who I didn't want to pray with for the first time, my father was released. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Put your voices up. I can't hear y'all. I can't hear y'all. Thank yourselves. That's all for you. All of that love and clapping is for you. Thank you so much.
Love, not fear, right? Everybody say love, not fear. Love, not fear. Love, not fear. Love, not fear. Get up again, y'all, for Russell Schultz III, y'all. So I told y'all that we'd be out of here, cut short about an hour, which is a beautiful thing because it's hot. But again, on your way out, we have tons of water in the back. Please stay in contact on Instagram, Love Not Fear. Also go to lovenotfearswell.com, I believe is the website. Also go to all the organizations who you've seen be a part of this work, particularly here in Philadelphia, inclusive of what you see on this banner, mobilization, the number 4, Mumia.com, and all the information at the back that you have. We have still books, merchandise from Mumia Abu-Jamal that you can support, and look forward to seeing again more actions for Mumia Abu-Jamal and all political prisoners going forward, because this become a national and even a global movement as well. This week, we'll be getting the reports back from those cities, from Mexico, from Germany, from Chicago, from San Fran, the Bay, Brooklyn, everywhere, France, right? All the cities that we talked about earlier, right? We're gonna get those reports back this week and talk about how we can galvanize even deeply. You know, this weekend was just a part of it. We know that mobilizing isn't the key criterion for organizing, is that right? It's important, it's the tactic, but not the strategy, right? It's a tactic, not the strategy. And so the strategy is ever evolving, it's ever growing, it's ever inclusive, right? But we're always gonna make sure that we hit the streets to raise awareness, particularly on important days like this, 40 years of this conviction. As you leave, please keep that in your hearts, that as we're out here today near 15th Street in Philadelphia, as much as we say release Mumia Abu-Jamal, at the end of the day, we're gonna go get a drink, an iced tea, or water, and Mumia Abu-Jamal is gonna be in a cage. That's the facts of it. And so the reality of it is, have that sense of cultural, radical, and revolutionary humility to understand what it means to be in a movement that's for our people, knowing that currently in this 1 second, as of 4:03 p.m., Mumia Abu-Jamal cannot benefit from our works yet. Emphasis on yet. All right? So we're going to bring him home, y'all. Is that right? Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Free Mumia! Brick by brick, wall by wall, we're gonna brick by brick, wall by wall, we're gonna what's the time? Brick by brick, wall by wall, we're gonna free Mumia Abu-Jamal. Let's get free, y'all. Let's go home together, y'all. Everybody be safe. Much love. One love. Feel free to get some water, y'all. We're going to close out with the microphone with the grannies, and then we're out of here.
And for anybody who's listening and who didn't get a flyer, remember that fear is spelled Philly style. P-H-E-A-R. Love not fear. Philly fear. Love not, PHEAR.com, and at Love Not Fear.
Alice!